Geronimo. Why, hello there YouTube and welcome back. I am Davros and I am a Whovian. So, it's another first and last review and we're getting oh so close to the end now with only 2 more Doctors to first and last review. And our next stop, of course, is on the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, 2010 to 2013. So, as we are now into the 11th Doctor run, as his first ever adventure was the 11th Hour. So, this pretty much takes off from where the End of Time ended, where the Doctor's helplessly hurtling towards Earth and the TARDIS is burning and blowing up around him, and he's in a post-regeneration shock. Next thing, he crashes on Earth, and it's 1996, where he meets a little girl called Amelia Pond, who is the companion. And then, of course, we make the Doctor, of course, then notices so much with his TARDIS, and then he goes inside it, and then ends up he's like 12 years too late, and Amelia has grown up into Amy Pond, played by Karen Gillan. And at first it was her cousin who played little Amy. So, yes. And of course, there's an escaped alien prisoner called Prisoner Zero, and the Doctor, of course, has only 20 minutes to save the Earth upon the 11th hour. So, let's get on to my likes and dislikes about this episode. So, I liked how it was, how Matt Smith's era tied so many loose ends on the TARDIS and didn't treat us like an idiot like when it changed again. You know, we got an explanation for how the TARDIS changes, and yeah, turns out, like the Doctor, when the TARDIS is badly damaged, it can rebuild itself. And also, and another one is we got a new Doctor Who opening credits, and yeah, I love this. I love that this was the start of Series 5, and the start of a new era. Although David Tennant left, it was the end of an era and we were given a new one. And I thought this was a great way for me to start my Easter holidays off, because I was in sixth form at school. I was about 18, turning 19, and I just remember this was a great way to start my Easter holidays, and I loved every second of this episode. And do I still think it is now? Yeah, I think it was a great opener for Matt Smith's Doctor. I also like that he was still wearing like rags of the 10th Doctor. I mean, he obviously took the jacket off, but he still had the brown trousers, the sneakers, the shirt and tie. Yeah. Just like, and also the old sonic screwdriver, the 10th Doctor's, but yeah, and that sort of gave gave us that the hint that he's still the Doctor. It's, there's still references to David Tennant there, and that, and then we got to see all the Doctors in a hologram from the aliens that were arresting Prisoner Zero. I like that scene too, where we should see William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, Christopher Eccleston, and then David Tennant before we see the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, saying, "Hello, I'm the Doctor." And from that moment on, that's when Matt Smith truly became the Doctor, when he emerged in his costume, the tweed jacket, the bow tie, and of course one of his many catchphrases, "Bow ties are cool." yeah, I thought this was a great opener for Matt Smith, and I loved his performance as the Doctor. He was younger looking, he was witty, he was wacky and crazy. Yeah, I thought this was a great start for him, and I like Series 5. Definitely one of Matt Smith's strongest seasons. I wish the same could be said for the later ones he did, but we'll get on to that bit, towards the end in the next part of this show. So, I also like Karen Gillan in this. It took me a little while to warm up to her, but I sort of got won over by her. Sort of. I don't know. Let's just say I don't think it took. I think it took the third episode, Victory of the Daleks, for me to warm up to Karen Gillan. I weren't too keen on her at first. Thought she was a bit whiny and that, but yeah, she grew on me very quickly. I also liked Prisoner Zero, how he shapeshifted and stuff and took multiforms and that. And even shifted into Olivia Colman at one point, with two little girls next to her. Prisoner Zero looked like a sort of piranha-like worm creature, which I thought was a bit strange. In fact, it looked like some sort of deep-sea fish. But Prisoner Zero, we haven't seen much of it. We haven't really seen him since then, because he was clearly a one-off monster. And what about those big alien eye things that were threatening to destroy the Earth in 20 minutes if Prisoner Zero's not back in their custody? They were like big eyes. They were like the watch symbol, the channel watch. Before, when it started out, the symbol was an eyeball. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the 11th hour. I thought it's a great way for Stephen Moffat to start his run as showrunner of the show. I have to say he did kind of wear his welcome into the ground a bit, but we're not going to talk about that now. So yeah, I also like the effects and the story, and I also like how the TARDIS rebuilt itself and it changed. In fact, I'd say that the 11th Doctor's TARDIS, the first TARDIS room he had, that's probably my favourite one, because it's bigger, it's better, you have to climb little steps to get to the console. Yeah, I don't know why they changed that though. And we're also getting a new TARDIS very soon with Jodie Whittaker, so that'll be something exciting. So yeah, final thoughts and ratings. I love the 11th hour, great series opener, great debut for Matt Smith. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Doctor Who the 11th hour, I'll give this a 4 out of 5. So now for our next review on the last, and it is on The Time of the Doctor. Let's go. Okay, so The Time of the Doctor. Well, this was the conclusion to a trilogy where it started on the series 7 finale, The Name of the Doctor, then continued into the 50th anniversary special, The Day of the Doctor, and then of course concluded it on Christmas 2013 with The Time of the Doctor. So basically after 3 series, Matt Smith decided to call it a day, and it was a shock, but I think he pulled out at the right time, because he'd done the million years. Excuse the sharp noise outside if you can hear it. He announced that he was leaving, and then for a few months we were thinking, who's going to be the new Doctor? And it was announced that it would be Peter Capaldi. So, on to the review of The Time of the Doctor. So, I thought, so this was the Christmas special of 2013, and it was the last time Matt Smith would be the Doctor. Let's crack on with this. So, in it, the Doctor, finds himself in this little small town of Christmas. The town's called Christmas, and then discovers that it's on the planet Trenzalore, where we discovered in the first part of this 3-part trilogy, it would be the resting place of him. And of course, it kind of almost did become that. basically Matt Smith's Doctor, he sends Clara home, but then she refuses to say goodbye and gets hold of the TARDIS, and then ends up going through the time vortex on a long loop. And by the time Clara gets back, the Doctor's aged 300 years, and then throughout the story, we see Matt Smith's Doctor grow old and frail, and basically we also discover that he's at the end of all his lives, because even though he wasn't called the Doctor in the Time War, the War Doctor was still a regeneration, and the 10th Doctor regenerated twice, and the first time he kept the same face from that series 4 finale. So, yes, he grew old, and we were all thinking, oh no, how's he going to get a new cycle and that? Thinking he saved the Time Lords and everything, but then we discover, Clara, after begging and asking the Time Lords to help him, because we actually get the whole question answered on the crack. Turns out it wasn't just a crack in time, it was a connection between the Doctor and the Time Lords, and that's what was in the hotel room that the Doctor went through in the God Complex. So we basically discover that this has been a link between the Doctor and the Time Lords, and the crack opens in the end, and we discover the Time Lords give him a brand new regeneration cycle, so he has regeneration number 13. And of course, at the end, we have an emotional farewell speech from Matt Smith's Doctor before he regenerates into the 12th Doctor. We also get to see him young one last time, as his body resets itself to the state it was in when it was born for the physical change. I don't know. Anyway, let's get on to my likes and dislikes on this one. So, first of all, I like the comedy Matt Smith brought into it, and the humour in that. It's like it was his last outing as the Doctor, and he wanted to make the most of it and go out in a bang. I also liked, Matt Smith's wittiness and everything, and his funniness and stuff, and basically how he went to church naked, wearing holographic clothing, and then told Clara that she must do the same. I also like how we got cameos from all the classic monsters throughout the eras, whether it was classic or revived. I love those cameos and that. I liked how they had wooden Cyberman. I'd never seen that before. I also liked, how we had, Clara, stuck in this situation where she has to see the Doctor grow old and deteriorate, but then regenerate, and that. So on to my dislikes. I did not... basically, I don't think there really was much for me to dislike about this episode, apart from the Daleks. I don't think they ruined it, I think the Daleks were a nice touch. After all, the Daleks are the Doctor's most heinous enemy and that, and basically the Daleks felt overpowered for a second, but they were still hesitating to kill the Doctor, and of course he soon gave them a good kick up the backside when he trashed the whole place with his regeneration beam, so his body resets itself. I loved the regeneration, how simple it was. I mean, we had Matt Smith's Doctor having his last fish fingers and custard. That's another thing I forgot to mention in the first review. Fish fingers and custard. Every 2nd of April for Whovians is Fish Fingers and Custard Day, thanks to the 11th Doctor. I thought it was kind of sad, but yet it was like, the Doctor reassured us that that everything's going to be fine, and even though he's going to change, he's still going to be there as the new Doctor. And then, of course, the regeneration, that had to be the fastest regeneration ever. It's like he sneezed and then poof, he became the 12th Doctor, which I did like. What else did I like on this? Yeah, I just liked this Christmas special in general. Matt Smith's regeneration is definitely my top favourite Doctor Who regeneration. I also do a re-ranking of those because of, now the 12th Doctor's changed and that. But, yeah, I enjoyed the time of the Doctor, and I was actually looking forward to the 12th Doctor era. So, let's see. Final thoughts and ratings. Well, I'll give you my final thoughts. Had great effects, great storyline. Didn't drag on either like David Tennant's. So, with all that being said, I'm going to give Doctor Who, The Time of the Doctor, I'll probably give this a 4 out of 5. So 4 out of 5 for the for the Time of the Doctor, and that's been my first and last review on the 11th Doctor. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and to hit the notification bell. And also, yeah, all my social media links, Twitter, Instagram, are all linked down below. So until next time, run for your life, or Allons-y, or Geronimo, however you want to go.